Crawl Space. I am Kim Kral. I am reporting to you not live from my closet. Hi, everybody. Hi. I am actually doing this before Wednesday, and I am so tired. Um, I went to Denver, as you all know. Oh man, I'm still processing, and like not the way you usually normally how I am when I come back. It was actually I'm processing because it was just like a surprisingly lovely trip. It was really healing and really um wonderful. So I want to talk about that. I have this list in front of me. I have a list on my phone. Every time something happens that I want to talk about on here, I just put it in the list. But sometimes I forget to delete it, and then I don't know if I forget to delete it, right? Because like for a person who tells a lot of stories on many different platforms, on a stage, in here, other people's podcasts, sometimes to myself, sometimes to strangers, sometimes to people on the phone. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, man, how do I keep track about? So I think I'm just going to one day just like blow through this whole list and see and just tell all of the stories. It may be like a 4 hour long episode. That's probably not true. It's not that long of a list, but so I'm texting with this guy, and I am texting with him, but we've met once a while ago. Not the same guy, not the Seattle, very different. He lives here. This guy's available, and well, he's not really normal at all, but he's not like Seattle. Don't worry, I'm not getting involved in anything like that again. I don't even know if I'm getting involved with this guy, but like I was looking at his picture just now, like he posted this photo on Instagram, and he's like uncomfortably good looking, like uncomfortably, like he's an actor. So he's like good, really good looking. And it hit me. I was like, oh man, I don't know how bad I'm really nervous to actually hang out with this dude. We haven't because we've both like either I've been out of town or he's been out of town or I had COVID, like there's been, we've been talking for like a month, but I'm yawning. I'm so sorry. And then also my breath isn't always the best. And when I yawn, I usually can get a good deep breath in. So I got to take advantage if it's happening. But we started talking like, I don't know, like a week before I got COVID, and then I got COVID. So I don't know, but I was just looking at a picture of him. He's very good looking. He's out of town this week. And then I think we're supposed to hang out next week. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's always disappointing or something, or you know what I mean? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like it's scary. But I was literally, as I was like pulling up this stuff, I was looking at that and I saw, and he posted a photo and I was like, I don't know, I think he's too hot for me. Impossible. Impossible. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to share about the funeral experience. But my family, I will say, I have talked a lot about, the last time I went home, I had a family member like sit me down and tell me that they would never support my book or read my book. And like, I talked about that the episode, and it was really, really hurtful. That family member sat me down and had like made an amends and was like, I don't know why I said that. I love you. I support you. I'm going to buy your book. Like, and I could tell every single time I talked to her about my career, her eyes like lit up and she was like proud of me. And we got real, like we reconnected on a level I don't think we have in a really long time this last trip. And it was just wild. Like and a couple more family members like pulled me aside and was like, yeah, we believe you. We love you. My aunt sent me a text message yesterday after she left Denver that was just like, I'm so proud of you and all of your accomplishments. And like, I know that you've been through so much in your life and most of it you've walked through alone. And I'm so sorry you've had to be brave, but I'm so inspired. Like what the fuck, you guys? Like, what? I like, there was a couple of family members that were kind of shitty, but like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You can't have all of them, but also like, it shows me that like, if you just keep living in your truth, I hate that saying, I guess, but if you just keep, your side of the street clean and keep being true to yourself, it's always going to be okay in the end. And I'm feeling really weird and uncomfortable about this. And I don't know, unless you grew up in a dysfunctional household, you may not relate to this, but I get uncomfortable when someone loves me or supports me. Like I feel, oh my God, my cat just appeared in the doorway. And like, you guys know how I feel about, I'm afraid like Batman or Darth Vader is just going to walk in here. I know that's a really weird, irrational fear, but I saw this thing move in the corner of my eye and I was like, ah! And I thought he was, this is nighttime. This is when he starts to wander around and, disrupt things. Now he's meowing at me. But wow, that really scared me. But like, and that's part of why I go to like ACA. And this trip has made me realize that I also am, going to put more effort towards, like, I've been casually looking for a therapist, but now it's like, oh, this is something I need to do in the next month. Like, get back into therapy, because when I have love, support, or available, like available men in my life, I'm very uncomfortable. And I like every ounce of me is like, run, set it on fire, run, run, run. And like the difference is I used to just do that, right? But now I don't react to things. I just go, okay, well, this is a feeling. It's, it's not real. It's just trauma. But I also, I don't know. I've been having a lot of really, really like, what are vivid dreams the last couple of nights. Okay, so today I recorded the Jeff May and I exclusive podcast on, we've got a podcast on Patreon. And so I told him on this. So if you hear this twice, sorry. But I had this dream last night, and I've just had such weird, vivid dreams lately. And I was reading about where the world is in the universe, like where the world is, the universe is right now, like cosmically. That sounds so crazy, but like energetically, a lot of people are like waking up or whatever. I know I sound nuts, but like waking up consciousness, right? And that a lot of like vivid dreams are happening and nightmares. So I had this dream last night that I was making these two like trout fillets or salmon fillets, whatever, like two salmon. And I had this book that was telling me how to make them, but it wasn't like a cookbook. It was like a witch book, right? Spell book, I don't know, but it was like something like that. And it was like, whatever you do, don't let the fish touch, because if they touch each other, they're going to form into a big fish, and then they're going to turn into a monster and they're going to kill you. And I was like, check. And then they touched, and then they started to form into the monster. And I kept thinking, and it was like, kill them immediately. And I kept thinking, man, am I not able to eat the fish after this whole thing's over? I really wanted to eat one of those fish. So I walk over and I had my spatula and I just cut off its head. And then this big ass, like, the dog, I don't know what it's called, but the 3-headed dog that guards Hades, one of their heads, but it was like a black dog, like scary red eyes, and like shot up and was huge and was like hovering over me. And and I remember thinking, just stare at it and it'll get intimidated and it'll go away. And then it didn't. And then I like woke up and it was like middle of the night in my pitch black ass room. And I was just like, oh my God. So just been a lot of dreams lately. I don't know why I told you all that. Yeah, I mean, like I've just been feeling off, and I know I wasn't feeling, I still know that I'm grieving. Obviously, this was a really tough trip in terms of just like grief and sadness. The last day, my cousin, who's like my little sister, she and I went to her parents' house, who, Amy died like 3 years ago. And oh, that was the point of the story. We'll get back to the dream. But she died like 3 years ago, and then, Steve died a month ago. And we went back, like we stopped at their house before she took me to the airport. And it was like, oh, this is probably the last time I'll be at this house, because they're going to sell it. And that was a second home to me, that was like it was my childhood home. And it's so funny because we were talking about how her grandma's home. She was like, I don't really mind selling this one, but I don't want to sell my grandma's home when she passes. And I didn't say this to her, but I should have, because now in this moment I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I feel the same way about your guys' house that you do your grandma's, and my house the way you do about, because my house just had a lot of, if those walls could talk, they would fucking scream, right? And so it's just, so it was just a really emotional trip, and the funeral was so fucking beautiful. It was just perfect. It was just perfect. There was, I'm still trying to process it. So I don't even know how much I can talk about in this. It was just really, it was really nice. And we saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a long, long time. The amount of people that came up to me and was like, "You have just you've just lost too much." Who knew my dad, Amy, and Steve, who were like the three people that were like my parents, and Adrienne and Jeff, who are my cousins, who are like my little brother and sister. Right? They were like, yeah, everybody's hugging us, saying that. And like that funeral home, I'm like, I'm too comfortable here. Why am I so like, this is like, we've been here too many times. And it was, but there was a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a really long time, a long, long time that, Amy and Steve's neighbors, my dad's old partner. My dad owned a trucking company for a long time. His old partner and his wife came, and it was just, God, it's so true. Nothing like a funeral to bring a reunion. And it's just so many people. So I've never talked about this before. This is my favorite thing. And okay, so when my family would go camping. Oh, I'm going to go back to the dream. I woke up and I was like looking around, and this voice in my head was like, I don't want to be defined by my abuse anymore. Like and I know that, you have to really wear trauma in order to like work through it. Like I've had to really like face all of it and look at it and like, but like I don't know, I went home and everyone but like one person doesn't believe me. And that one person, I was like, okay, I don't care, man. Um, it's just like, oh, for years, all I wanted was for them to hear me. And all of them were like, yeah, we believe you 100%. My little sister was like, she's like, I just don't understand why no one does. Like, wouldn't you have given up the jig by now? Like, if you were lying, wouldn't you, after like 7 years, be like, all right, well, it's actually been 10. I came out, I accused him 10 years ago. All right, I told my story 10 years ago. And she's like, wouldn't you have just like let it go by now, or like come clean or something, or like no one's gonna believe my lies, all stuff like. And then she also was like, and she's right, like I lost literally everything when I I stood up against my dad. I lost my whole family. And this weekend, on some level, it feels like I'm getting them back more than I have ever, and it's really a lot to unpack emotionally. It's really cool, but it's a lot to unpack. But I woke up in the middle of the night, and after that weird dog demon thing, maybe I don't read dreams, so I'm not even going to attempt. But and I just thought, I don't I want to continue talking about my story on platforms like this, or that's one of the things I want to do with my life, is talk about the stigma of sexual abuse, talk about, because it happened to so many people, and so many people are ashamed to talk about it, or somehow feel at fault, or like it's better to just bury it than like, look at it. And I know from vast experience, my life completely changed as soon as I faced it and talked about it. And what I want to do with a lot of my life is help people like me, because I wanted to die a few years ago. I wanted to fucking die, and I'm not in that place anymore. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, I don't want to be defined by this anymore. I don't want to, I think I mean, I think on some level I'll always have to face it. There will always be some PTSD there. There will always be some, and it's day by day. Some days I'm not bothered by it at all, and other days I'm really, really triggered, and I know that that is part of it. But I think going to a trauma therapist would be helpful, because that's not all I am. I'm way more than the girl that was sexually abused by her dad, or has the drug addict alcoholic mom. Like I'm just way more than that. And that dream in the middle of the night last night, I woke up and it was so clear as day, and here I am today. I worked all day. And it was a pretty big breakthrough. And if I could describe, I know it doesn't sound scary, but that dog was really, really, really scary. It was like so scary, it like jumped me out of my dream. Um, yeah. So I remember another dream I had years ago. And by the way, if you if you want to like mute for like 4 minutes or something while I tell this, I agree with you. When people tell me their dreams, I'm like, literally, I don't care. I don't care at all. Unless I'm having sex with you, or you're the most interesting person in the world, or you're my best friend. I don't even know if that I care, but here I am, because they always say that you can't die in your dreams, and that's not true. I know it's been disproven, but it's not true. So I had a dream that I look like I think the blonde broad from Eurythmics, the Annie Lennox, I think, with the short white hair. I was like being chased in on a motorcycle by like a Corvette. This is like 15 years ago, 18 years ago. I was still living in the bachelor studio apartment in Westwood that I lived in. Oh my God, I'm gonna break this. On the bachelor studio apartment I lived in, I used to, and speaking of trauma, I used to sleep on my floor in a sleeping bag instead of on the bed. I don't know why, but anytime I felt unsafe when I was a kid, I would sleep in that sleeping bag. And I'm sure it has something to do with whatever monstrosity Tom was up to, right? But even when I moved out alone, I would sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag some nights when I was scared. And this night I was sleeping on the floor and I was being chased, but I was like tough. You know what I mean? Like I was like being chased because I was like a spy. And then my motorcycle crashed and the guy got out and I went, I can't get caught. And I pulled out a gun and I fucking shot myself in the face or in the mouth. I ate the gun, right? Gross. In the face, but I put the gun in my mouth, I pulled the trigger, and then I woke up. And I guess I didn't die in the dream, but I came pretty fucking close. And then I woke up and I looked under. I don't know if I looked under. So it was a 1-room apartment, right? It was like a bachelor, which isn't even really a studio. It was like 1 room and a bathroom, right? And so the hallway light was always on. And I woke up and I looked under and I saw the light on. And my first instinct was, oh my God, he's home. And meaning I thought I was back in my childhood home. And I was like, oh my God, he's home. And I like gripped onto the sleeping bag and just like was like, just don't move and don't say anything. Maybe he won't come in here. And then I like paused. I looked around and I saw that I was safe in California. And I was like, oh, I'm safe. You're safe. And that happened a number of times in that apartment. But then I moved into an actual apartment with people and there was like hallway with that the light was off. Right. But it's that was one of the first nights that I was like, oh, and that dream sticks with me. But that was one of the first nights that I was like, oh, fuck, something happened to me. And I think I got to maybe talk about it somewhere. And then last night's dream was just like, okay, it's time to release this more and more. Just wild. So I don't know, take what you want with that. I'll update you on the whole therapy thing. It's hard to find a good therapist. I do have a couple of guidelines from my ACA to find a therapist that is, versed in 12 steps and also ask questions about, I need someone who's, understands sexual abuse. I can't. And I also, if you're looking for a therapist, I also know what's really hard is you don't have to go with the first one. You know what I mean? You can shop around. Like I always just thought, oh, if I found a therapist that took my insurance or that I could afford, I'll just take them. But and I haven't had bad therapists over the years, but I haven't had great therapists. Right. And just so I am now prepared. My people pleasing is under control ish, where I am prepared to be like, oh, I don't think this is a good fit. Thank you so much. Right. So we'll see what happens. So the funeral. Okay. So when I was a kid, we used to go camping at Brown's Campground in Buena Vista, Colorado. It was just a big campground, and my family, we would all a tradition that we would do, and it turned into a tradition every time I've been home and I'm with family. I'm sure that nights when they're all just sitting around the table drinking, they probably do this too. I don't think this is just when the song's on. So the song, The Wait by the band, it started at Brown's Campground. We would all stand up and we would sing this song at the top of our lungs. Of course, the adults are all drunk and the kids are still singing it. And it's loud and it's bad. And if you know it, it's like, take a load off, Fanny. Take a load for free. And then we're like, take a load off, Fanny. And then we would do it badly and and we'd all be screaming, right? Put the load right on me. So we've done that my whole life, right? Every time I go home, my Uncle Steve and I would do it with Adrian and Jeff. When Amy was alive, we do it when Tom was alive. Nick and Lance, Lance was my dad's partner in business. And, like we would just do it so often. So, the night before the funeral, Adrienne, this is so goddamn funny to me. Adrienne was like, she was, walking through the funeral and she showed me the song. She's like, she played the songs for me the night before. Just so it was really nice actually, because I sobbed quite a bit during the funeral and the songs, but I knew what each song really meant to them, right? And so Adrienne was like, okay, at one point, we're all going to stand up and we're going to sing The Weight. And I was like, oh my God. And in my head, we're all going to get in a big circle. The 100 people at this fucking funeral get in the circle and we're all going to sing like drunk lunatics like we have for 40 years, right? Like that was in my head. And so instead, and Adrian's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, we're both like, that's so great. And so the day when it happens, my funeral, the woman calls up Adrian and Jeff, and they're going to stand in front and face the 100 people while the lyrics are being played on the overhead projector above Adrian and Jeff. And as soon as she stood up there, she looked at Jeff and she goes, we didn't think this through. It was like 9 a.m. and everyone's stone cold sober. It was literally the prettiest we've ever sing that song, but it was like 100 people and like pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about half past dead. And then every time the and would come, I would be like, all right, now yell and, now do it, each one. And I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can fucking do it. But then when we went back to the house later and had a couple of shots in us, we were able to really do the and. It was special. It was special. It was it was really special. I went somewhere else. I went to that place, but it was very funny. And afterwards, she and I laughed very hard about it because it was so. And then in the middle of the funeral, so they did a thing where they were like, we're gonna leave open the mic so anyone can come and listen, or anyone can come up here and talk about Uncle Steve, right? And of course, no one goes up there for the first like 3 minutes. Everyone's like, you go, and people are trying to get guts. My whole family is like, get up there, Kim, get up there. And it got like where I was like, I'm not even gonna turn and watch you guys because like I don't even want to. I'm not doing that. Here are a few reasons why. Because afterwards they were like, you're the comedian. And my dad's partner was like, you get in front of people for a living. And I'm like, it's different. It's one, I see a microphone and a crowd, and my brain is like, make them laugh. And that wasn't the venue. And at my cousin's Jeff's wedding, I was his best man, and I did the best man speech. And before, everyone was like literally 20 people from my childhood came up to me and was like, "We're so excited about your speech." And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Well, because you're a comedian. I bet it'll be really funny." I'm like, oh, it's actually kind of sentimental. So like I did the sentimental, but I bombed, right? As a comedian, I bombed in front of like 200 people. And that haunted me for like 6 months, even though I was supposed to bomb. Like I wasn't supposed to go up there and make them laugh, right? I was supposed to go up there and be like sentimental to my little brother. And I blacked out. I have no idea. I wrote down what I said. By blacked out, I mean like not by booze. I didn't really drink at that wedding. I mean like I was just so nervous and uncomfortable. And that's the thing. Like I can stand in front of a crowd and tell vagina jokes all day long, but getting up in front of a crowd and being like vulnerable is scares the fucking pants off me. So I didn't, and also it's not, also my Uncle Steve was kind of annoyed by that side of me, right? I really appreciate, they said that when he met Amy, my aunt, that he described her as he didn't like her and he thought she was loud and over the top. And I was like, oh, that's why I annoyed you so much, because I am definitely loud and for sure over the top. But I can just see me going up there and him being like, you don't have to make everything funny, right? And so it just didn't feel appropriate. But the people that did get up there, it was really, I like watching people public speak too who aren't public speakers, because it is a really daunting thing. And it was just, I don't know, the whole thing was just really lovely. And it was really nice to reconnect with my family in that way. It was nice. And for the first time in a really, really long time, I may venture to guess. No, The first year after my dad died and I went back for Christmas, it was magical because I hadn't really been home or welcome home in 5 years. Um, and I wanted to come back, and this is the first time since then I've really wanted to go back. So I don't know. I guess it's like it'll always be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And the long lost cousin was there. Her story's not really mine to tell, but it was definitely something that it was definitely really healing. And I'm hoping to have a relationship with her. She's had a tough life, tough couple of years. And like I said to a few family members, we all deserve a second act, or a third or a fourth or a 10th. We all get to try again. This being a human is hard. And I don't know. I think we should all be able to come back. I mean, obviously don't, if you're like, yeah, what if I murder a bunch of people? Like, fuck off. That's not what I mean. But like, so I don't know. I gave her my phone number. So it like the ball's kind of in her court. I told her to give me a call, and I'd love to be in touch, but who knows? She did tell me that I was the one family member she was the most scared to see, which I don't know where to put that. Um, I am a force, I guess, and you don't. And I do definitely. There was some things that I did that I'm a little uncomfortable with. I talked about. I break the rule of dysfunction, the cardinal rule of dysfunctional families. The cardinal rule is don't trust, don't feel, don't talk. Don't tell the family secret, don't trust or feel. And I stopped doing those things a long time ago, and this is the first time that I really, like, in a group setting, talked about it. And so I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And last week I talked about Denzel. It's so funny because that Denzel Washington quote popped up like 3 hours after I posted Crawl Space, where he said, your own family will literally talk shit about you while you're breaking their generational curses or their dysfunction. The shit ain't for the weak. And yeah, so it's of course I'm uncomfortable. Of course, like, it's just it's a lot to unpack, but I'm really, man, I'm so grateful I went. I'm so grateful I went. And, I'm still grieving. And I think that will be for a long time. But it really feels like I can finally start grieving. I got over the hump of going home and going to the funeral and saying goodbye. And now it's like, okay, well, now we can start. Truly, I feel like now I can finally start 2022 and also, just move forward and just remember Uncle Stevie the best I can. So there's that. So there's that. It was really healing. So I guess people can change. People can change. Situations can change. Just keep your side of the street clean. So I got news right before I came on here that this bar is closing, that it didn't survive COVID. And it just made me think about, it's called Five Threads. It's a brewery in Westlake Village, California. And it was the very first place, the very first stage. I don't know, maybe not, maybe, but it was like one of the moments, right? Those defining moments in your career, whether if you're a comedian or what you do. Like I had one, I'm thinking of one other before this, but this was the moment where I was like, oh fuck, I could actually do this. Like I'm a fucking headliner. Like I'm a person that I'm gonna make it, right? It was, I don't know if it was the first time I performed there. I think it was the first time I ever performed there. It was a couple of years ago. And the lineup had just like powerhouses on it. And it was hosted by two dear friends, Matt Neal and Sam Goldstein. You should look up their comedy. They're very funny. Support them. They produced it, just produced such a great show. And yeah, it was just, and this lineup was, stacked with like huge comics, like just powerhouse comics, and me. And I was the only woman, and which comes with a certain amount of pressure, right? The only woman plus everyone on there is like gonna crush. So it's like, I gotta crush. And I fucking crushed. And I just remember, that feeling. And anytime I kind of feel shitty about comedy or I bomb, I think about nights like those where you're looking out into, a packed audience, and they're just hanging on to every one of your words, and everything you say is just the fucking funniest thing. And it's just so, And I was supposed to headline there. I was scheduled to headline there April 3rd, 2020. So like 2 weeks after the world ended. So it was shut down. And, Matt texted me and he was like, I don't think he said yo, but like, you're going to headline as soon as they open their doors. And they were supposed to open their doors November or October 2021, then November 2021, then December. And then today they finally announced that they didn't make it. And it's just a real bummer. It just sucks that this thing is taken out so much, it just sucks. And it's, and Matt texted me tonight and he was, I texted him, of course, and was like, I'm so sorry, that sucks. Cause they ran that show there for a long time and it was such a cool show. And the bartenders were great. It was just like, the audience was awesome. It's just, I don't know. I like got emotional. I was like, grant you, I am a little fragile right now. I'm pretty fragile right now, but I got emotional and it's just, one of those places that you're like, man, I became a comedian there. And then another night I performed there. I've performed there 3 times. One, and then, the night that I was awesome. And then the second time I performed there, I don't know if I walked in all cocky and shit, but I've walked up and been like, like you start to walk on stage and I can feel it if I'm going to bomb. I can just feel it. And one night I walked up and I was like, uh-oh. Like there's something in my brain that goes, oh no. And I mean, it was fine, but it was just like, please laugh, please laugh. It was, no, I performed there 4 times. 2 times it was okay. 2 other times I rocked it, right? So the last time I worked there, I performed there, I rocked it. Rocked it? I don't know what that means. But it was December of 2019. Oh man. Yeah. My brain is still like, I'm still trying to process this last weekend. I feel weird and guilty that like some family members I spent more time with, some I didn't. And of course, Saturday was just like a big drunken fest where everyone was just hammered. And you guys know how, I had a lot of, by fun. I don't know if I had a lot of fun, but yeah, I still just have a lot to process. So my brain is all over the map. But yeah, 5 threads, man. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer. I am getting back on stage this weekend. If you're in LA, I'm going to be at Baja Grill in Koreatown. And then on Monday, I'm going to be at the Oaks Tavern. And then at the end of February, I'm going to be at the Hollywood Comedy. So all that stuff is at kimkral.com if you guys want to come see me tell jokes. I'm going to be actively trying to get more and more spots. I'm back, baby. I think. I don't know. I mean, hopefully, the COVID situation, I don't know. Like when I went to Denver, it was like almost not. I mean, at the funeral home, we had to wear masks, but everywhere else, it was like, whatever. Like it was just almost non-existent. It's just so wild. It's just so wild. We can't get on the same page, and that like it's politicized so much. Like Adrienne was telling me that she's like, yeah, just like naming parts of the city that wore masks and that didn't. She's like, well, they're really Trumpy over there, so they don't wear masks. And it's just, oh my God, my cat is just laying there staring at me. I love him so much. It's just so crazy. It's just so much has been lost, like lives. It's just. My lung capacity, so much. I might go down through this list, guys. I might be able to go down through this list. So I started doing this modeling job, which is like a before and after eyebrow thing. So it's not a glamorous modeling job, but it's so funny. While it was happening, I realized like I've known this for a long time, but my inner voice is different now. So when you're in this industry is so cutthroat about looks, right? And especially modeling, it's like since I've been modeling since I was like 18, not 18, 21. I don't know. I said 18. I used to lie when I was 21 and say I was 18, whatever. They would like talk about your body like it was an object, right? Like you would be standing there, like the times I was standing there on like an Apple box naked holding my boobs while designers are like pointing, and directors or whatever, like pointing at my body going, why is that there? What is that? Well, I think it's her rib. Why is it so big? Like literally like that kind of language, like talking about you like you're like not a person. And that is one thing about modeling that I do appreciate a little bit, is that there's no bullshit. When you walk in, if they don't like you, you know right away and you leave. Like acting, they're like, great job. And then you leave and you're like, wasn't it a great job? And then you never hear from them. But modeling, but they're kind of mean. It's like, I can't believe you would ever think you'd be able to model. You know what I like? It's so, and so I'm doing this thing and where I have no makeup on, right? Because they're doing like, so I mean, I have like light, like very, very light makeup on. And they have a close up of my face, and there's like 4 people, the photographer, the director, the client, and then one other person standing around a blown up photo of my face, not with no makeup, no filter, no anything, just my face. And they talking about it. And I'm standing right there. And it's just like, what is that? What is that right there? Oh, I think it's a freckle. Is that a dry spot? Why does she have hair right there? What is that pore? That pore is huge. Like literally like that loud and open. And when I was younger, it would just be like, oh my God. And I'd internalize it. Like I am fat, or my boobs aren't good enough, or like my leg is a little bow-legged. You know what I mean? Like when I was younger, I would like internalize it. And then, that's how body dysmorphia and eating disorders are formed, especially in this industry. Right. And it's not, maybe it's better as in like they're conscious of it and they'll like apologize after they do it, right? But these guys didn't. But not apologize, but they needed to have a clean face, and so they they were like, you need to get rid of that. You need to the makeup artist or whatever. But back in the day, I would be like, oh my God, I got to lose weight, or oh my God, I don't fit into those jeans. I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And now my inner monologue while they're doing it, I was just like, you're beautiful. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. Look at you. You're beautiful. You are being paid to stand in front of a camera. You are beautiful, right? Like over and over and over again. And then one of the guys did say, the director goes, you have great skin, by the way, just absolutely beautiful skin. And I was like, thanks, dude. Thanks. More directors should be like you in this industry, because a lot of times it's just criticize, unless you're like a 19-year-old perfect, whatever. I'm trying to think of a supermodel, but it's just so wild. I mean, I had a friend who modeled when she was younger, like 14 to like 18, and she still models, but older, right? And she like modeling all over Italy and shit, right? Like international modeling. One of the prettiest people you'll ever see in person. And she said that she would go on go-sees all day, which is like going from client to client with your modeling book to see if they want to hire you for whatever job they have. And then she'd come home and they would weigh her. They'd weigh all the models. And one time, one of the women in charge goes, what did you do today? And she's like, oh, I went to lunch with Chelsea. And she goes, did you eat Chelsea's lunch too? Because you gained a half an inch, like some shit like that. Right. And it's just like, and my poor friend spent most of her 20s and 30s trying to get rid of that like inner monologue and gorgeous girl, but it's such a damaging industry. And I know they're trying to change it, but I'm sitting here at this like tiny job, and I'm grateful for the work and it's fine. And, they weren't being mean, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, that still happens. And, and they got all the stuff they needed. Hopefully no one in there, I was gonna say they don't know my name. Of course they know my name. They hired me, but I doubt they'll be listening to this. But it's just such an odd, I realized when I was home too, when I'm feeling scared or out of control, I get really hyper aware of what I look like, because one of the things, like I was pretty, like I was the pretty one, and I'm pretty. So like that I can control. And so I noticed myself doing that on Saturday, just like obsessively putting on lipstick and fixing my eyelashes. And I was just like, what are you doing? Breathe. You are safe. You are safe. Oh man, this story. Okay, so I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down the list. So I know I told you guys this a long time ago. I think my best friends and I in junior high would laugh too hard and pee our pants a lot, like all the time. Like at least 4 days of the week, one of us would pee our pants from laughing too hard. And you would think that way. We just never want to admit that it was actually a problem, right? You know what I mean? So we always like, because if we like brought extra pants to school, this will be sort of your poop scoop because I'm out of poop scoops, guys. I can't poop my pants for this. I can't. I have heavily debated. Should I poop my pants for this? I'm like, I think my dignity has taken all it can for all the times I've pooped my pants. All of the times. So you have to send me poop scoops, please. Poop scoop booty. So this is a bathroom one though. So we would laugh so hard. But if we bring, send me a poop scoop, kimcrawlspace@gmail.com. Kim Crawlspace, KYMKRALSPACE @gmail.com. My God, my cat's cute. Send me your poop scoops. If you've pooped your pants, you've come close to pooping your pants, an embarrassing poop story, a wild poop story. I love wild poop stories. Ooh, I do have a good one that someone told me a long time ago. I'll tell that now. And then we'll get back to the peeing pants. Oh my God. Terrified that hot guy will listen to this and be like, never mind. I think he's weird too. Just from some of the stuff he's texted me, I'm like, I think he might be weird too. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not peeing his pants till he's 16 weird, but I don't know. I'm playing dolls for a long time. There's this really, really, really hot girl I used to work with at Big Wangs. I mean, a lot of the girls were like smoking hot, but this girl is like a fucking sex bot, right? Like my leg is asleep. Like a fucking sex bot, just so hot. And she said one morning this guy was driving her home from a night of banging it out and sleeping together and drinking. And he's driving and they're going down Sunset Boulevard and she is like, I'm going to shit my pants. She's like, I just want to get home so I can poop my pants or I can poop in my toilet. And he's like, there's like traffic and it's like, and she's like, how it goes when you're like sweating and shit. And you're just like, I don't want to poop my pants. I don't want to poop my pants. And finally she was like, we have to stop at a 7-Eleven. I need a Gatorade. I need one. He's like, well, aren't we almost here? She's like, I just need a Gatorade. And he's like, okay. So they pull over to a gas station. And of course, that gas station does not have a bathroom, no public bathroom. She's begging. She's smoking hot. She's like, please, it's an emergency. Guy's like, no. She's like, okay. So she has to buy the Gatorade because she can't not have the Gatorade because she doesn't buy the Gatorade. She comes out and the guy's like, where's the Gatorade? She can't be like, that was a ruse to get me to go to the bathroom. So she buys the Gatorade and is increasingly about to poop her pants, right? She's telling me this story one day at work, by the way, and I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. And so they get back in the car and they get back on Sunset Boulevard and she's like, the traffic is too bad and I don't know what to do. I'm going to poop my pants. So she goes, and this is a girl that always wears like mini, like tight ass dresses and like 5-inch heels. So she's in a 5-inch heels and tight ass dress, and they're driving down Sunset, gridlock traffic. And she goes, and I didn't know what to do. So I just got out of the vehicle and started running because they were stopped. And she just got out of the vehicle in her stilettos and just started running down the street trying to find anywhere she could shit. And then she found, what was the place called? What's the Burke Williams, the spa. She walks in and they're like, hi, ma'am, can we help you? She's like, I need a bathroom. And they were like, what? She's like, just show me where the bathroom is. And I think women know, right? Like the guy at the gas station, fuck that guy. You can see in someone's desperation, but these women knew. They were like, oh, ma'am, go to the bathroom. And then she said she walked out of Burke Williams and called the guy and he came and picked her up. And she was just like, I had to go to the bathroom and I don't want to talk about it. Oh, I forgot about the story. Good story. It's a good story. So we had this friend. Her name was Kira. And so Aspen and I used to always pee our pants, right? And sorry, Aspen. And we would like, we both had, and I thought about this the other day because I was going to pee my pants. I was like, I waited. I drank too much water. I didn't go before I left a venue. And then I got home. I couldn't find my keys. I peed my pants once like this when I was like 30. I just couldn't find my keys. There was no alcohol involved. I just like had to go really bad. And then I peed my pants like 5 feet away from my toilet. That was a weird night. Whitney came over and he was like, oh, like we were at a place together and then we were met at my apartment. I peed my pants and he comes over and he goes, oh, you put on shorts. And it was like January. And I was like, oh yeah, I have to change. I peed my pants. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I peed them. Just peed my pants. They're in a bag in the bathroom. I don't really know what to do with the pants. So just like, if you go in there, I wouldn't mess with them because they're covered in pee. And he was like, oh, that's fine. Not that's fine, but okay. So I was thinking about this the other day because with Aspen and I, when we had to pee really bad when we were kids, junior high, we would both sing a song that would keep our mind off of how bad we had to pee and get us out of the laughing, right? If we started singing the song, we'd stop laughing and then we wouldn't pee our pants. My song, so embarrassing. My song was, Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. And when he's tall, it's what we call a dinosaur sensation. Barney's friends are big and tall. They come from lots of places. ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and how to dun, 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 dun. I don't remember the last. It's surprising I remember what I did remember. But oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable. It's surprising I remember that much. And Aspen would sing, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my spout. Stout. Here's my short and stout. Okay, whatever. It wasn't my pee pan song. It was hers. And so we would sing that, and we'd sing it a lot together. Like we'd start laughing, and then we'd squat down, and then I'd be like, Barney is a dinosaur from That's Shocking. We had no friends. And most of the time, our bags were full of our dolls that we played on the bus that day too. Like I told you guys one time we were in 8th grade and we were playing in the back, and we're under one of our coats and we're playing with our dolls, and one of the 7th graders goes, ew, Kim and Aspen are making out under the coat. And we looked up over the coat and we were like, yeah, that's what we're doing under here. That's way less embarrassing than what's actually going on under here. So we would like drop to the floor, and this is when Aspen could turn her legs completely around. And I couldn't pop my teeth out of my mouth, but I just didn't have them, right? So I had like 2 massive caps in my teeth. Oh man. So we had Stephanie too. And then we had 2 straggler friends that Kira and Becca, who I like once we got to high school. I mean, Becca and I still keep in touch, but she went off and I think it was like a desperate situation that Becca was like, I don't really have any friends. So I guess you guys will do. And then Kira definitely didn't have any friends. And Kira's mom wrote us a letter one day. So Kira had these boobs. And now as an adult woman, it's like, who cares if she's stuffed? I should have stuffed in 7th grade. Things would have probably been a little bit better for me if I had tits back then, right? But you know what I mean? Like maybe I wouldn't have been, no, I would have still be peeing my pants and playing with those dolls. Nothing would have helped us. But she had boobs, but everyone said they were fake boobs. And so Aspen and I were like, yeah, we'll find out, because we were mean, we were 7th graders, right? Or 8th graders. I don't remember how. We were in junior high, and those kids are assholes. And I don't know, one day we got in a big fight with Kira, and I can't remember what we got in a fight with Kira about. I would kill to find out where she is. Let's see how she's doing. But we got in a big fight with her, and she pushed Aspen. She pushed Aspen. We're at the park. It's after school. She pushed Aspen, and Aspen was like, why I oughta, or some cartoon response, and pulled up her. So then I started laughing so hard I couldn't back up Aspen. So I had to squat down so I wouldn't pee my pants. And I'm singing Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. And Aspen realizes how hard I'm laughing at it. So then she starts laughing, singing I'm a little teapot short and stout. And we're both on the ground squatting, singing these ridiculous songs. And Kira, who thought that we were going to fight her, is so confused. Because this is what the 2 of us are now doing. Instead of fighting her, we're both like, I'm a little teapot short and stout. And then Kira sort of backed out of the park and started running. And then Aspen pauses her song to yell, yeah, you better run, Kira. Her mom wrote us a letter after that. I really wish we would have saved that letter. It was basically why are you so mean to our daughter? I don't remember why, but I will tell you, my mean girl streak didn't start until later. That may not be true, but I don't remember ever us doing anything. I think we just didn't like her, and she was just our friend. Or maybe she was annoying. I don't know. Maybe we were assholes to Kira. Wherever you are, Kira, I'm really sorry. I don't remember why we tried to fist fight you in the park, but instead we tried not to pee our pants, which was probably really confusing for you. I wrote that down and I was like, I don't even know if that'll be that funny. And I don't know if it is for you, but man, I really enjoyed that. Man, I really enjoyed that. So that's the crawl space episode. That's today's episode, guys. I'm going to hopefully find somebody, a therapist, in the next week. So we'll catch up on that. I am also starting to it's so funny. It's so interesting. I think funny and interessante, muy interesante. When I, when you're about, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without sounding crazy or pretentious. I don't know if this will sound pretentious, but when you work on yourself and you start to like level up emotionally. I mean, I talk about this all the time. You start, getting your shit together and like toxic people just sort of fuck off. And now I'm sort of in the point where it's not really toxic people that are fucking off, but it is just they're not, it's just I'm on in a different direction, different playing field than them now, if that makes sense. Not better or worse, just we moved on to different playing fields and we have to part ways. And it's really heartbreaking and it's confusing because it's just like, well, why can't I still be? And there's not like a formal breakup or an ending. It's just like people grow apart. And when you start to level up emotionally and start to get better and work through your shit, you let a lot of people go. And before I started this whole journey, it was all toxic people that just sort of fucked off. And now I don't really have those toxic people in my life anymore, but I do have people that I'm just like, oh, we just don't fit in our lives together anymore because I'm off doing this and you're doing that. But I've decided, like, what I just pay it. I've trying this thing where I'm paying really close attention. And I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, because I've been doing it for a bit. Pay attention to how you feel after you're with someone or you talk to someone. Like, pay attention to how you feel when you're around them. I have someone I'm really close to that I've realized recently that a lot of times when I get off the phone with her or I'm done seeing her, I don't always feel good, or I feel drained, like emotionally drained, or it's like a hit or miss. And I've just been like, you know what, I'm gonna step away from this for a bit, just because, well, one, right now I'm going through kind of a lot. I'm going through a lot with this death, and I got to just put my own oxygen mask on first. And so just like kind of backing away from friendships and relationships that I just don't always feel very good about when I'm around these people. And not, and it's just like, when I'm feeling this way and I don't feel super grounded, I really can get into the black and white of things. Everything is black and white when I'm in this like not grounded state or uncomfortable state. And I have to just keep remembering it's all gray, like, because someone's not in my life right now doesn't mean they're bad or good. It just means, we just had to take a break for a little bit. And then on the flip side, I have a lot of people in my life that every single time I'm around them, I just feel awesome. And I feel like I can fucking do anything. I'm capable of anything. You know what I mean? Like, and those are the people that just fucking gas me up are the people I want to be around all the time. I mean, I'm an adult who lives on the planet Earth, so I can't always hang out with only people that gas me up all the time, but I can choose who I spend my spare time with, who I talk to on the phone, who I hike with, who I go out with. And it's kind of sad to let people go. It's just, I don't know. I'm all over the map, but I think this was a fun episode. Was it? Validate me. I also, so I'm on Bumble, but I'm not really doing it just because I was out of town, and I don't know. It's a lot of effort, guys. It really is. But there's a guy that I matched with. So I matched with him, and then I go to his page. I usually, when I match with someone, or when I like them or swipe right or whatever, I don't really look at much, right? Like, I look at, like, I just make sure that they're like vaccinated. It's not like a conservative Christian, and they're taller than me, and I'm attracted to them, right? Like, those are usually like the three things I kind of look at, and then I swipe right. And then if we match, then I'll look in their profile, and then I'll decide if I want to stay, right? And so there's this guy who had this really, he's a rock climber and a photographer. And so he had his Instagram up. So I went and we matched. So I went to his Instagram and I just followed him because he had really pretty pictures and had some funny stuff and inspirational shit. So like, I would have followed him had we not matched, right? Because he just had really pretty pictures. But we matched. And so I messaged him and nothing, but then, like, we ran out of time or whatever, but then it looked like I went on his Instagram. Oh my God, this is going to make me look so crazy. Whatever. I've asked like 5 people this, they're all dudes, and all dudes are like, yeah, you're fine. Message him. But I went on his Instagram, like, and then he was like in like the Swiss Alps or some shit, right? Like no one's bumbling when they're in the fucking Swiss Alps, at least anybody I want to date, right? And so I have been asking around, should I or should I not? So like a couple of nights ago, before I went to Denver, he posted something funny like in a story, and I like put like a laughing emoji, and he wrote back immediately and was like, so funny, right? And I panicked and I just liked it because I was like, oh, what should I say? So I think I'm gonna message him. This is my plan. I have to just do it, otherwise I'm gonna overthink it. I'm gonna make up a relationship with this dude and then he's gonna be a dud. So I need to just fucking do it, otherwise let it go, right? So I'm just gonna be like, hey, we matched. I'm gonna lie a little bit, because if I say, hey, we matched, and then you never responded, I'll look crazy. But if I'm like, hey, we matched, and I think we missed the match, but I had followed you on Instagram, so I thought I would just come say hi. And then that's cute, right? And I think every guy I've asked is like, yeah, you're fine. Just message him. Yeah, it's fine. Message him. Like I was talking to Jeff today on our, fine, we have a podcast. And he didn't even let me finish. I was like, let me finish. He goes, well, you want to know if you should message him. And I say, yes, message him. But the thing is as a woman, and I know it's way different, as a woman, I've been messaged by people from Instagram or from Bumble or Tinder that are like, hi, we didn't match, but I just wanted to, double down and be super fucking creepy by looking you up on social media and seeing if you wanted to go out with me anyway. Didn't say any of the super fucking creepy stuff. I added that in there, but like, so I don't want to look like that, but then fuck it. We did match. Am I yelling? I feel I'm in my closet and it's a little late. My neighbor watches a lot of action movies all day, so I yell in my closet. He also says, the only time I hear you is when you play the song Shallow. You really like that song. You play it a lot. And then he also says, and you've been watching The Walking Dead for like 3 years nonstop. And so maybe I oughta, I won't yell anymore. But so I'm going to message him. Fuck it. What's the worst thing that can happen, right? He doesn't respond or he tells me to fuck off, and then we're here right here. So I'll tell you all about that. All right. So that's your episode, guys. I am one lucky broad. It's obvious. I'm one lucky broad. I am so fucking grateful. I'm one lucky broad that I have family that is supportive of me. That is a weird thing to say. They tell you in ACA that the more you work this program, the more the relationship with you, your God, and your family will change. And it is so true. So I'm one lucky broad that the relationship with my family is changing and for the better. There's a couple family members, there was a little rocky stuff, and I'm still trying to process that and trying to see if I have a side or if I should just let it be. But I'm one lucky broad that I have discernment now, that I'm not taking it on. I'm not like, oh my God, it's all my fault and abandoning myself. But yeah, I'm one lucky broad that I have a family that is supportive of me. What the fuck, right? So that's your episode, guys. Here's a couple things. This is the end of the episode rundown of everything that I'm up to. On Patreon, I have 2 exclusive Patreon shows now. One with Jeff May, comedian Jeff May. It comes out the first of every month, called Fine, We Have a Podcast. He's very funny. We just have a fun banter, and people seem to really enjoy us talking for the last, I don't know. We've been on a lot of podcasts in the past, and I've been on his podcast, and everyone is like, all of his people, my people are like, you guys have a really good banner. So we just have an hour and a half show where we just like catch each other up on our lives, and usually get in some sort of argument about something, and then we make up, and he's just fucking delightful. So and then also I started a monthly podcast exclusively on Patreon called Sexual Revolution 2022. Once a month on the 15th, I will tell you about my sexual revolution that I'm doing. So if you want to join Patreon for that, and then other bonus content, and support the podcast that way, I would love it. I also wrote a book, as you know, Confessions of a Recovering Party Girl. That is on Amazon, or you can get a signed copy at kimkral.com. And I am starting to tell some jokes, guys. So check out my calendar. It's up to date now. There's only 3 shows in the next month, but that will change. So please come out and laugh with me. Follow me on Instagram, KYMKRAL. Send me a email about how you pooped your pants one time. Come on, you have, and I want to hear it. I don't have to say your name in it. KimKralspace@gmail.com. I think that's it. Be nice to each other. Be kind. Be kind, work hard, be grateful. That's the fucking key to it all, right? Yeah, it's really hard out there. So be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Okay. I love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Kral space,